Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff and my nickname is Heyfro, in case you're wondering what that is. Or actually, my nickname was originally Fro. It evolved into Heyfro, and I sell things, so that's the origin of Heyfro Sells. Someday I'll tell the really funny story about how I got the nickname Heyfro. We're gonna talk what sold. Things are starting to feel I would say things are starting to feel pretty normal for a lazy July, end of July, summer sales. It seems, my wife's story yesterday went a good bit without having a sale, like 18 hours. It was really weird. But I'm going to show you what sold since yesterday. I try to show you everything that sells. And generally it's from video to video is when this video ends, whatever sells, I try to show in the next video. If I end up getting it shipped out before I make another video, I talk about it. And you can always go to my stores and you can see that item sold. The gentleman who came yesterday and bought the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure toys that I showed you, he ended up buying all four for $30, which was awesome. I was so happy because these were, like I said in the previous video, these were Teenage Mutant Ninja toys. And to give you an idea of what they look like, I thought I had, I was actually digging around last night in my inventory. They looked similar to this, same packaging, but this is a different one. So I actually messaged the guy to see, trying to upsell, right? Letting him know that I did have another one, because I did not have that one listed locally. So he hasn't responded yet. So yeah, he ended up buying all of them for $30. So don't have to relist anything back on eBay, and I was able to keep that money all to myself. So what sold? First sale is 10 comics to one person. I'm not going to show you them all. They're very obscure comics. They're very low dollar. I was extremely thankful, Pokemon. I was very thankful that 10 different people didn't come in and buy each of these comics, because it's just, it's so much easier to ship them all in one. So 10 comics at $43, and I was literally shocked that he didn't take me up on my offer to add more from my other store. But sometimes people, they have a budget, and that's okay too. And that's one of the ways that I upsell. Somebody had asked how I upsell. I simply just let people know, depending on what they buy, depending on how much weight it is, you can either add to. And so let's say in that instance, if somebody wanted to add more comics, I would say something along the lines of, if you wanted to add any single comics to your order, I can do free shipping on that. And I stated in that way because I don't want somebody to come in and buy, I have some really, really large lots of comics. Like I've got one that is like over 125 issues of this one series. And I don't want them adding that, because that's going to be a significant amount. Sometimes if somebody buys like something that's around 2 or 3 ounces, I'll say, it's free shipping if you want to add anything up to the total package of a pound. It's different, and it depends on where it's going. So that's just one of the ways that I try to add value to my service, because free shipping on anything added is a big bonus, and it encourages people. It sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't, but that's what I do. And what else? So this book, Altered States of Consciousness, it's by Charles Tart. There's a couple different versions, like this. I believe this is the revised, but this one sold for $106. This was part of that massive esoteric book lot that I got, still selling stuff out of that, and I still have stuff out of that to list. So, and I love selling those kind of books. like magic, like Wiccan, esoteric, anything along those lines. So definitely a book to watch out. I believe all of the versions sell pretty well. I think there might even be one that's even better than that. So I sold this Ford racing hat. What did I sell this for? $21. Ford racing NASCAR. I accepted. He countered my offer. Sorry. And yeah, I'm going to the post office today, so I figure why not, increase some sales. I'm pretty much accepting most offers right now just to create some flow and some abundance. Help your mindset. Sometimes that's important, but I don't just accept every offer. Yeah, that's just the way I am. Not surprised by this sale. Barbie Tropical Beach Teresa. I had this part of a set. There was like a Ken doll, and the buyer messaged me and wanted to know if I would just sell them that. And they made a fair offer. I thought to myself, why not? Maybe it'll make the other one sell better. Maybe somebody doesn't want both of them. Both together it would have been over £1, so the shipping was more. This was only 8 or 9 ounces. It'll be able to go into a small box, and I'll keep that under £1, so the shipping was more reasonable. So yes, I wanted to address a comment about a gentleman he's a seller, and he sold something, and then the buyer didn't pay, and then 4 or 5 days went by, and he tried to cancel the order, and it was basically saying that there was no option to cancel it. So he ended up having to wait like another 4 or 5 days before he could go in and cancel it. Now, let's see, how do I explain this? So if I buy something from you today and you send me the invoice today, do not send another invoice, because eBay did change something. I don't know why. It doesn't actually make any sense to me. If you resend the invoice, say in 2 or 3 days, it resets the clock to when you can cancel an order. So the workaround to this is, if somebody buys something from you, 3 days go by, and you're starting to wonder, like, and you check out the buyer, maybe he has like a low eBay score, whatever that number is, and you're starting to think, oh, maybe he's not going to pay, maybe the inclination is to resend the invoice and include a message and say, hey, whatever you're going to say. Don't do that. Just send them a message. And that way you're at least attempting to communicate the issue with them and say, because maybe they just got busy. Try to not think the worst. Sometimes it's, easy to do that and fall into that trap. Just send them a message. And then if they don't respond and they don't pay, in a day or two, then you'll be able to just cancel the order and relist it and move on with your life. I don't really let unpaid items really bother me, because I have so many items, it doesn't worry me. Like, it's not a concern if one item is tied up, and even if I can't relist it for 6 or 7 days. So let's say I forget and I send the invoice, which I don't do anymore, but I did do for a little while, and after they made that change. But anybody else experiencing that? Anybody else can think of any reason why eBay would have made that change? It makes no sense at all. In fact, if anything, it's rewarding bad behavior on part of the buyers. I don't know. There's 3 little Dragon Ball Z cards in here. Sold those for $12 shipped. Sold some Steam Eye masks. We Bear Bears is it's a franchise on the Cartoon Network, and these sold for $14 shipped. Yes, and then yeah, I got 2 more sales. Yesterday, something weird happened to me. And some other people were commenting about international orders, whether or not, you know, that people who are not in the international shipping program, are they finding that they're not getting international orders, or vice versa, or just in general? I'll give you my experience. I've always had my listings set to do not ship internationally. It's a personal choice. And what it comes down to is I don't enter in my dimensions and the weight and everything for every order. So it's impossible for me to know what the shipping and handling is going to cost to every single place in the world. So I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. But if somebody contacts me and says, can you ship to me? Of course I'm going to do that. And that has not changed in terms of like the level or the amount of orders that I've been getting. It's still the same for me. I didn't find that my international shipping orders increased when I entered the program, and I left the program. I did a video where I addressed this in a video. I left the international shipping program because for me, my dimensions, as I stated, my dimensions and weights aren't in there. So eBay has no way to calculate it. So basically what they do is they charge. So if somebody from Italy wants to buy something and it's this, they'll charge them the most that they're going to charge to ship there, and they'll base it on distance. And so I just thought to myself, well, this is a shitty customer experience for them when they're at my store, because this does not cost $20 to ship to Italy. So I thought to myself 2 different things. Is if somebody is willing to pay, you know, let's say I had this for like 12 because I truly did not know the value of it, and the guy made an offer for 8, so of course I'm going to accept it. This was part of like a huge lot of things that I bought, so these essentially were pennies on the dollar. But if somebody was willing to pay $20 plus $8 to get this, then I would rather make that, shipping and handling money, and I wouldn't charge them that much. I probably would charge them half of that. So I just felt like eBay, because eBay doesn't refund the difference of the money, they just pocket that. So, they're keeping, the final value fees, the promotional fees. If it was a promoted fees, they would be making an astronomical amount of money on the internet, the shipping. So I just thought to myself, I would rather make some of that money myself and give that customer a better price on the shipping and handling. So that's why I am not. But everybody's situation is different. And the reason this came up is I think eBay kind of screwed me out of an order yesterday. So I'll tell you exactly what happened. This guy from Germany wanted to buy a comic. So he messaged me, he's like, hey, do you ship to Germany? And I go, yeah. I go, just make an offer, a penny below the listing, and I'll adjust the shipping and handling. And I told him it'll probably be between 15 and 20 because I don't know. And then he bought it. He made that offer. I accepted. I got the invoice. I was able to look at his address. I got a quote. I sent him the invoice for the price plus $12.97 because it was going to cost I invoiced him for $13.97 because it was going to cost him $10.97 to ship, and then you've got to factor in eBay's cut, and I always charge a little bit of a premium for international shipping. Just it's kind of like a danger premium, right? It's going so far, and it's still, the $13.97 would still probably have been 25 to 30% cheaper than what it would have been in eBay. And another reason why I don't participate in the international shipping program is it does open you up to Veros. If you sell something and it goes there, which that is a whole nother problem with eBay. I addressed numerous Vero videos, and essentially when I started on YouTube, which nobody probably saw because nobody was watching me at that time. So yeah, that's an issue. That's something to be aware of. You do open yourself up to Veros, and if you get too many of those on your account, I mean, you could literally have your account taken away from you, which is another reason that eBay actually needs to redo that whole program and find ways to protect sellers instead of penalizing them. And I could go on about that, but I'm not. So anyhow, I send the invoice, and then immediately I get an email. Oh, I see that you don't ship internationally, so I'm sorry, please cancel the order. And then I message them back and I'm like, hey, no worries. I'm like, I've already invoiced you. I do ship internationally. In fact, I just shipped something to Germany. So, try and pay the invoice and then let me know if you have any issues. Crickets. So I don't know if he just wanted to cancel the order or if he truly believed that I didn't ship internationally, or if he was being prevented on some way on his end. But this is the first time that's ever happened to me. I've never had an international buyer not be able to pay the invoice after I've invoiced him and everything went through. So, it was a $10 comic. I would have made a little bit of money on the shipping. So I don't know what happened. Kind of annoying, because I feel like I would have been able to potentially kind of, get him to buy a little bit more, because with international shippers, right, free shipping on, being able to add 1 or 2 or 3 more comics to the order without it actually substantially raising, that's actually a huge deal. So I feel like eBay kind of screwed me on that, either with a non-functioning website, but oh well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? So, and I did email him a couple more times trying to, get him to just respond so I could see where he was at on his end, but no, he just didn't respond. So having talked this out, I'm thinking maybe that was his way of canceling, but I mean, I don't know why buyers have to lie about canceling either. It's like they don't get penalized. So another sale, You Two Stay Far Away So Close to Live format CD. This sold for $5. Well, actually it was like $10 shipped, and it's missing a CD in it. Like I disclosed that in the title. It's kind of a cool CD. I mean, I've never seen this format with this particular CD. So the fact that it sold for $5 plus shipping, with missing a CD, I thought that was pretty cool. Like I bought this, there was a thrift store I was at, and they were just blowing out some CDs, kind of really obscure stuff. And, that's right up my alley. And I guess I thought to myself that would still sell. So yeah. And then the last sale of the day, of the period between videos, is this Amarula Cream shot glass. This sold for $14 plus shipping. Everything, keep in mind, everything has shipping for me, and my shipping is usually not super cheap either. Yeah. So let's see here. 7 sales is $232, or you could look at it as 16 sales at $232, depending on how that 10 comic book lot. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was I wanted to touch upon what I spoke about in the last video about the things that have saved me during this, kind of like this slow period of time. I talked about my volume. I do believe that having as many items listed has been huge, and continuing to list has been huge. Continuing to diversify and sell things locally has been huge. And I think when you're determining the items that you want to source, try to think differently. Try to go against what everyone else is doing. You know, find a niche, you know, that you specialize in. Like, I specialize in comics. That's what got me into reselling. But then I branched out. You know, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I can't even remember now, but I just started, you know, branching out, selling toys, selling, you know, graphic novels, selling manga, like all things comic market related. And then from there, I at some point, I just turned into an everything seller. But find something that you like, find something you're passionate about. That's so important as well. And think differently. And I'm going to give you an example. J Ride Flips did like a short on IG or somewhere. I was watching a video, and I just thought this was very, like, so basically he was at the thrift store and he saw a vacuum, and you know, I for one would never want to buy a vacuum to resell, and he didn't. He bought the vacuum to part it out. You know, he has this knowledge base of this vacuum, and he knows that this canister, blah blah, whatever, will yield this much. The hose that will yield this much. You know, I constantly part stuff out. Like I sold yesterday those Mork and Mindy pieces from the board game for $17. I remember paying $3 for the board game in total, and there's still like the box. I still have the box if somebody wants to buy it. I still have the board if somebody wants to buy that. So I'm in the money on that, and everything else is bonus on that. You know, and I remember watching Mork and Mindy when I was little. Like, it was like one of my favorite shows. So lots of times I truly do buy things that I like to resell, things that I enjoy. I rarely keep anything, you know, but I find the process of reselling is enjoyable to me, and that's why I do it. So find a niche that you like and that you enjoy, and then it doesn't seem like work. But yeah, other than that, that's all the notes that I've got right now. I hope your guys' sales are at least normalizing, that it does, you know, it does feel different than it does last week. It feels a lot more hopeful. It feels like the sky's not falling. Yeah, maybe eBay watched the video and they were like, okay, we got to fix this website. Yeah, right. I'm just joking. They're not watching my videos. But anyhow, have a good rest of your day, guys, and take care, and we'll see you in the next one.